I'm very proud of that intro. I really am. Hello there, everybody. This is CwapTheNintendin here, and welcome to another edition of Platinum Impressions. Today, we're going to be continuing my thoughts on the Kingdom Hearts series with the second game in the series, Okay, technically third game in the series, excuse me, or at least third in the timeline that I'm currently on. Kingdom Hearts 2 for the PS2, but I'm playing the Final Mix version, and that's the only version that matters. Final Mix version HD for the PS3 and PS4. So, Kingdom Hearts 2. Even before I started playing the series, I've heard, stuff about it, just stuff in general. Like how people say that this one is the best one in the series, or this is where the entire series gets confusing, and also that very long prologue with Roxas, and also me seeing this game at school in action and thinking it was really cool to see. Yeah, it's all very vague on what I've heard and seen, but I do know one thing. This is the point where the Kingdom Hearts conundrum began. You see, this is all because of Chain of Memories, because Chain happened on the Game Boy Advance, and people often dismiss it as sort of a spin-off. But it's actually part of the overarching Kingdom Hearts plot. And crucial information happened, and naturally that got a lot of people confused as to why there are suddenly these black-hooded gangsta lads suddenly in this universe. But us living in the year of 2017, where every Kingdom Hearts game is on the PS4, or at the very least 2/3 of them on the PS3, because Squeenix is too lazy to make a playable version of 358 Days Over 2 and recode it, and possibly back cover in HD. I don't know, but we don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry. You can only watch the cutscenes. So, I played Chain for about 2 hours, and I basically got the gist of what I was playing. Thankfully, it wasn't Sticker Star, but it was still technically a card-based... Thankfully, it wasn't Sticker Star, but it was still a card-based RPG, and those almost never work unless you like that sort of thing. I ain't judging. To each his own. I'll go back to it if I'm curious enough to, but as for Kingdom Hearts 2, I had high hopes for this one, because people say that this is, like, really good and improves a lot of stuff that Kingdom Hearts 1 did, so what could they improve that was already fun to me in the first one? A lot, and more, to be perfectly honest. And so, it is story time. Skip to here for gameplay, or skip here to the final thoughts, because mild spoilers are abound, and because, well, one friend of mine is playing Kingdom Hearts 2 blind, and I don't really want to ruin things for him, so story time. With Chain of Memories happening, TLDR, Castle Oblivion made Sora, Donald, and Goofy Ding's memories screwy, and they are in stasis to get their memories all patched up. So, starting off Kingdom Hearts 2, we follow Roxas, a boy who lives in Twilight Town with his friends Hayner, Pence, and Olette, who, as they do summer stuff, like competing in struggles, skateboarding, summer jobs, and school homework. So, for the first 6 days, Roxas experienced weird staticky dreams about Sora's adventures from the first game, all while trying to go through the summer life as normally as possible. But Roxas eventually discovers that he's been living within the grand designs of a simulation of his life, thanks to one Diz from Chain of Memories, who also appears to be with Ansem, even though he was destroyed. All the while, Naminé, who is also from Chain of Memories, tells Roxas that he and Sora are connected, or at the very least tries to. But before she could get out the full story out there, she is taken away by Diz, who intends to keep Roxas in the simulation until Sora's memories are fully restored. Roxas discovers the entire ordeal along with his memories of being in Organization 13 thanks to one member of the organization, Axel, who was his friend in 358 over 2. Jesus, the conundrum, this script! It's Metal Gear Solid 2 all over again, no! Roxas, on the 6th day, which is probably that point where you feel like, oh, thank God, discovers Sora in stasis, and finally knowing the full story, why he can hold the Keyblade in his hand, why there are so many of these white, weird body type things following him around everywhere. And he proceeds to go inside Sora. Ew. Making him whole. And that's where the story begins. Sora, Donald, and Goofy, ding, are awakened from their year-long memory reset sleep, awakened to real Twilight Town, where they surprisingly find King Mickey, who is not only sporting Organization 13 wear, but also points them in the right direction of more information about what's going on. After a heartfelt goodbye to the Twilight Town crew, Sora arrives at a mysterious tower, and at the top, after dealing with more Heartless, lies Master Yen Sid, who is not only Disney spelled backwards, but is also Mickey's teacher in the ways of the Keyblade. Yen Sid explains that a new threat has emerged in the form of nobodies, shells of beings who have had their hearts taken away. The nobodies are under the control of Organization 13, whose intentions are grand, but unknown. To make matters worse, Maleficent has returned from the dead through memory bullshit, and along with her new lackey Pete, once again commanding Heartless to impede Sora's progress. Well, Maleficent is, commanding Heartless again, not Pete, because he can command Heartless, but not again. And so, with a new cosplay inspiration outfit, Sora, Donald, and Goofy, ding, travel up to various Disney worlds to, once again, seal the keyholes, destroy Heartless, and nobodies this time, and find out the organization's plan, as well as continue the search for King Mickey as well as Riku. And let's not forget, Kairi is safe from Destiny Islands thanks to the ending of Kingdom Hearts 1. Oh my god. I may have talked for a solid, over 5 minutes of plot there, but Jesus Christ. Okay, so, A, once again, Chain of Memories was an important entry. So without it, you're so lost. I was lucky enough to get the entire gist of Chain's gameplay only 2 hours in. I had to get the entire point of Rechain on my own, which is basically the whole setup for the organization, as well as places like Twilight Town and characters like Axel and Naminé. I've also had the baggage of watching the 358 Days Over 2 cutscenes to end off my 1.5 experience, since that explained a lot about Roxas's background. And it was technically next in the timeline, and that gave out way more context to me, so yeah. B, we now know that Organization 13 are orchestrating events beyond the good guys' backs. And when they finally do take precedence into the plot, when is it? In Beast Castle and Olympus Coliseum. And that's it until the second half of the game. Yeah, until the big showdown in Hollow Bastion happens, the organization has little sprinklings of plot here and there after beating some worlds. Like Kairi getting kidnapped by Axel. Yes, good. Plot. More organization, please. Other than that, honestly, the plot takes surprisingly a back seat to Sora doing the same thing as he did in Kingdom Hearts 1, which was basically visiting each of the worlds and dealing with the various Heartless threats, and sometimes come across nobodies, whether it's worlds returning from one or brand new ones. Now, that's not to say that's not bad or anything, but I'm just saying that it's more or less the same thing that we've had from the first game, so if that makes any sense, then congratulations, I guess. C, the Roxas opening. Now, a lot of people don't really like this prologue because it takes too long and you're not controlling Sora and all that stuff. But here's the thing. I didn't really mind the Roxas prologue. It was different and interesting because Roxas is surprisingly a much different character than Sora. Well, to put it in terms where a friend explained it, he's more introspective and moody, actually, because of all the stuff that's happening to him. And it was interesting to see the Roxas see the truth about who he is and what he is. But I didn't really like it when things got dramatic and slow and big quotes. We go through that one motion in the plot where we see Roxas hanging out, where we see Roxas being seen by Hayner with the local cool guys or the disciplinary committee, Cypher, Rai, and Fu from 8, and actual cool guy Vivi from 9, yay. And Hayner's like, nope, you're cool, I'm mad at you for some reason. And he's like, nah, we don't do that. No, No, Nomura, don't. You're bad. We live in 2017 where writing is cool now, but not that. And it goes on until, you know, the struggle tournament where, like, Hayner and Roxas suddenly forget their little dispute and just be like, hey, what were we mad about? Okay. But still, I'd rather have that than the Rose and Jack thing from Metal Gear Solid 2. God, that was awful! It was 3 hours, but honestly, I really did enjoy those 3 hours overall, so yeah, I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. And finally, D. That ending was beautiful and I don't know why. And honestly, that's all I gotta say about that. So honestly, when the story gets going, it's good. But when we're going through the usual motions, which is basically, you know, visiting all the Disney worlds, it's on halt and that's bad. But, you know, when it all boils down to it, if the game's really, really fun, then this story doesn't probably even matter to me in the whole grand scheme of my opinions, honestly. So, yeah, despite the fact that Organization 13 isn't really going to be a thing for, like, you know, over half of the game, it's still good. I still like the plot. I still like the characters, you know? So, yeah, I like the story, but I just wish it had a little bit more and much less confusing. Maybe if it did, like, sort of a Metal Gear Solid thing, where you could read up, like, past missions and stuff, you know? Like in Metal Gear Solid 1, where you could read the plot summaries of Metal Gear 1 and Metal Gear 2, so that people new to the series wouldn't get lost. So, yeah. They should have done that, but nope. Game design. Game design for Kingdom Hearts 2, in terms of story, was much less significant, or much less anything than Metal Gear Solid's was back in 1998. But Kingdom Hearts 2 is a video game. And thankfully, this game is a massive improvement over the first one. Okay, so just to sort of get the bad things out of the way, Kingdom Hearts 2 is more action-oriented than the first game. That means, basically, the game designers had to sacrifice a bit of the exploration aspect from Kingdom Hearts 1. Now the areas that you go through are a bit smaller in design and built for battling Heartless or Nobodies. Except for those 1 or 2 or 3 exceptions to the rule. And honestly, I gotta admit, while I do have my fun battling Heartless and Nobodies and grinding up all them levels, I do miss trying to explore for treasures. I mean, there's still an element of exploration, like, you get puzzle pieces for getting, you know, more items, and that's basically the exploration point. But it's made to be less significant, if that makes any sense. Honestly, I really couldn't care less about that, because, well, the combat is really, really fun this time around. The battle system has evolved to be more flashy and cinematic, thanks to the usual mash X buttons, and this time, triangle buttons, for it is the reaction command button. If you see the triangle prompt near an enemy, then that's your cue to unleash a reaction command, and all of them are unique for every enemy you face. They can range from simply dodging to Sora doing all sorts of flashy stuff, you know, like grabbing a Heartless and just unleashing its laser, or just, you know, doing all sorts of quick time events and stuff. Ugh, God. Honestly, they were really a joy to see for the first time around, because, you know, you would think that Kingdom Hearts 2 would just do the same thing as it did in the first game, but no. They managed to find a new thing to make it all fresh and new. And it's like I said, they're unique for all enemies, so it helps out greatly in taking care of a big group of them. No, seriously, there's a segment where you have to kill 1,000 Heartless in Hollow Bastion, and the reaction commands are the best thing to use. It's awesome. So, yeah, the combat is just the usual, you know, mash X to win and you know, use magic and stuff whenever you need to. They also changed up the magic system a little bit, which, you know, it's called MP charge, which basically means that if you set something to MP charge, then, and you waste up all your MP, then your MP will charge up, you know, over time until you can use it again. So, yeah, don't really need to waste ethers this time around, so that's good. Another new addition is the ability to activate drive forms. Sora's new clothes that he gets aren't just for show. they allow Sora to gain a temporary power boost. Valor form is for strength in exchange for Goofy, Wisdom form is for magic in exchange for Donald, and so on and so forth. These forms can be leveled up as well to give Sora his movement upgrades like High Jump or Glide. And they're all leveled up differently too. Personally, my favorite has been the Valor form according to the Endings Battle Report, because I just love jumping up high and stuff, I guess. And I just love mashing the X button to, unleash like every single bit of attack on, every single one of the enemies. So be sure to level them up often, because if you're going to go for the post-game stuff, or at least making the main story easier for yourself, then you're going to be spending a lot of time grinding up the drive forms. However, with activating the drive forms, and trust me, there's a whole lot more than Valor and Wisdom, there's a chance that activating Sora's drive form will cause him to go into anti-form. While anti-form is good for dishing out combos, you can't really do anything else other than use your standard attack. And you can't revert back to your normal form, so yeah, you're stuck in anti-form until the drive gauge runs out. The drive gauge also goes for how summoning is handled as well. In exchange for your drive gauge, the summons can be used and leveled up by using up a full point of the gauge. And trust me, the summons are actually pretty damn good, just like they were in Kingdom Hearts 1 if applied right. Chicken Little draws in enemies, how ironic given that Chicken Little is one of the best summons when his movie was shit! Stitch is good for defense, and so on and so forth, so yeah, they're great. And apparently a lot of people don't really think so, they can just like shove up to the side, or at least that's what I heard. They're often neglected, many people say. But they don't understand, they say, because Stitch saves lives. He's great and cute like that. He's the defense guy, He's the guy made for defense. He fills up your MP. He has your HP covered. He's great, man. He's great. He even saved me from a super boss one time. Seriously, he saved me. Until I got dead like 2 minutes later. Thank you, Lingering Will. If you honestly want the best difficulty setting possible for your first time, then honestly, I recommend going for Proud Mode, which is, well, more or less the normal difficulty according to most people that I've listened to. Okay, here's the thing about me with this game. I originally wanted to go for Standard Mode, well, until my friend, informed me and basically everyone else in his audience that, well, Proud Mode was basically, the normal mode of Kingdom Hearts 2, so yeah, plus it was a good way for people to get, the secret ending, so I did that. I sped through the Roxas, prologue and stuff. Yeah, it was great. Now, most boss fights in Proud Mode aren't really that bad, and, to be perfectly honest, I had an easy time with, most of the enemies and most of the boss fights. But there were those few exceptions that made me distrust the world's battle levels, because, each world has its own battle level, just like it did in Kingdom Hearts 1. What's that? Halloween Town's battle level is 24? Nah, I'm fine with level 30, I'm good. What's that? The Land of Dragons in the second half of the game is 35? Well, how about if I just go 10 levels higher? Yeah, that's great, right? Great. I love you, experience boosts. What's that? Atlantica's battle level is 0? Oh. You're doing musicals for that one. Honestly, I don't really trust myself with slightly harder difficulties in JRPGs. I always go for the normal difficulty in JRPGs, which is why I absolutely refuse to do Proud Mode in Kingdom Hearts 1. So, I feel the need to grind up on everything just so that I can have an easier time with everything. Well, I did have an easy time, actually. I had a relatively easy time. Until the final world, where one of the super bosses in the final world in the main story starts kicking you in the ball several times, that you have to grind up to level 60, which makes me seriously question the battle level of 50! Seriously, Cardman Luxord of the organization did give me as much trouble as Roxas did. And he was part of the story. But he was Final Mix only, so lucky you people who grew up with vanilla Kingdom Hearts 2, man! So, most worlds in this game are new, like Land of Dragons from Mulan, Beauty and the Beast with Beast Castle, and the best one, Timeless River, and so on and so forth. And even those worlds returning like Olympus Coliseum and Halloween Town have new designs and gimmicks to them. Honestly, I give a huge shout out to Timeless River for being such an amazing designed world, and also really great in concept as well. And also Halloween Town for including Christmas Town, which hosts one of the best tracks in the game. Even honestly, I'd almost considering giving a shout out to 100 Acre Wood as well. Yes, Pooh's World is back, and you obviously have to collect torn pages too, but here's the thing. The mini games that you play actually do make sense, and are really fun to play. Because Pooh has lost his memory, and by playing the mini games, you basically regain Pooh's memory of his friends. How did they buff the Pooh world and nerf the Ariel world? Okay, here's the thing about Atlantica. I still stand by my opinions that Atlantica in Kingdom Hearts 1 wasn't as bad as everyone thought it was. But for Kingdom Hearts 2, I do have to agree with everyone else. And, you know, while it's something that I can handle because, you know, it's basically rhythm games in each of the things that you have to do, it doesn't really matter so much in the grand scheme of things. It doesn't really do much. Like, you're not fighting Heartless at all. There is a reason why Atlantica's battle level is 0. And, you know, like, this is stupid right here. Okay, so, at the end of one chapter in Atlantica, like, you have to find Eric's pendant, right? That he loses in the ocean, right? Because we're doing the plot of Little Mermaid in musical form. And here's the thing. It floats into the ocean. It gets under this rock with Sora and the gang, like, looking at it. He's like, oh, damn. He's like, damn it. Well, looks like we have to get a magic spell to do that. So, like, why? Why? Why do you have to get a spell in order to get that thing? Shouldn't you just reach under a thing? Wouldn't that make more sense? But no, we have to apparently get our drive gauge to, like, you know, maximum 5, or get our drive gauge to last a total of 5 drive gauges in order to move on, or get, you know, the Thundaga or Magnera spell. Just, oh my god. To me, I can handle Atlantica, it's just that the pacing is just incredibly stupid. But going from a bad thing to a good thing, one of the better improvements of getting to the world is the gummy ship. The world map is actually more interactive with you controlling the ship, like, in a sort of 3D plane. Like, you're really going through, like, all 8 directions just to go to all worlds. So you fly over to a world, you realize you can't get to it yet, so you have to do a gummy ship route. And once you get to the route, it's awesome. It's awesome. They're actually like Star Fox this time around. The gummy ship levels are actually really, really exciting to go through because, well, you're doing a whole lot more than, like, barrel rolling and locking on to guys with the lasers, and it's so good! You know, like, it's actually high energy and actually really, really fast paced, which I like. I like it. Kingdom Hearts 3, do that, please. And you know, the best part about all that is that once you do a route, you don't have to do it again unless you want extra stuff for the gummy ship. Which really honestly makes, you know, the gummy ship more like a side thing this time around than it did in Kingdom Hearts 1. But it still plays a hell of a lot better than in Kingdom Hearts 1, without a doubt. So, yeah, gotta give compliments where compliments are due. So, on a graphical level, this game looks awesome. Each world has its own color scheme, of course, and its own feel to it, and the HD upgrade makes this game look so good on the PS3. Like, honestly, the HD upgrade is what this game actually really did need, because this game originally came out in 2006 in North America, or 2005 in Japan for the PS2, and the next-gen systems were starting to come out at the time, so this would have been a perfect time to add, like, sort of a widescreen mode. But it didn't really do that, so yeah, be thankful that you actually have an HD version this time around. And also musically, I heard that by 2006, MIDI was getting old for Kingdom Hearts standards. And, you know, here's actually a really, really weird thing that I keep hearing about, you know, PS2 sound font versus the reorchestration font with Kingdom Hearts 1. Apparently, some people, or some comments that I've read about certain themes in Kingdom Hearts 1 actually like the original versions better because the reorchestrations don't pack as much of a punch to them. And I've listened to them, and honestly, I feel like Kingdom Hearts is just one of those series where orchestrated soundtracks are actually needed. Like, seriously. You try to do orchestra with MIDI, and it's just like, what? But if there's any universal agreement that Kingdom Hearts 2 had with the sound font on the PS2 versus the reorchestrations in the HD versions, it was the reorchestrations that Kingdom Hearts 2 needed. And they are amazing. They really are. I can name a few tracks worth noting, like both Twilight Town themes as well as their battle themes, Asteroid Attack, Home of Dragons, 13th Struggle, all the Timeless River themes, What a Surprise and Happy Holidays, which are basically the themes to Christmas Town, the frickin' Pirates of the Caribbean battle theme, which is basically just the Pirates theme and it kicks ass, Rage Awakened, and both Sanctuary themes. I could honestly go on. I could honestly go on and just explain how this soundtrack is actually an amazing soundtrack for what Kingdom Hearts managed to do. I could go on and praise Yoko Shimomura as a musical goddess again, but I feel like the script is already long enough as it is, so I'll just wrap things up here before things get way too insane. Kingdom Hearts 2 is one of the most fun experiences I've ever had with a video game. Okay, so I enjoyed Kingdom Hearts 1 for its easy-to-follow story as well as the gameplay. And even though Kingdom Hearts 2 manages to get confusing at points, honestly, I feel like the gameplay more than makes up for it. Like, they managed to improve on nearly every aspect possible. Like, 85% of the game manages to improve on something that worked in the first game. And again, the story might be confusing in the grand scheme of things, but when it comes to playing the game, I feel like it's much better than the original. Like, period. Combat is incredibly satisfying, the soundtrack is just as sexy as it ever, it looks great. For me, it's just an all-around great experience just playing this game from the beginning to the end. Easily, it could honestly fit within a top 20 spot or even top 15 for me. It's that good. I was really satisfied with what I played in the first Kingdom Hearts, and the same story goes for Kingdom Hearts 2. Also, I'm really, really happy that I played through this. Because as of right now, with Kingdom Hearts 3 finally getting a Pixar world as well as a 2018 release year, I am that much more excited for it than when I was shown the first gameplay in E3 2015. At this point, I'm gonna get a PS4 so I can have all the Kingdom Hearts games all under one roof. So I can play them in glorious 60 frames per second, and also so I can be ready for when Kingdom Hearts 3 finally drops next year. So, yeah, I'm honestly really, really glad that I've chosen to play Kingdom Hearts 2 after being poked so many times by one of my friends who actually got an amazing tattoo. Good job, man. Good job. Your wish has been fulfilled. This one's for you, buddy. But seriously though, thank you, Ian, for poking me to finally do this. So, with that being said, while it's not the next game that I'm playing, that's Metal Gear Solid 3 actually. Next on my Kingdom Hearts journey is the Birth by Sleep, where there's going to be a whole lot of Aqua and Terra and not Roxas. Seriously, it's Roxas, but he isn't. And yes, I know the order in which you play the story, so don't worry, I'll play the stories in the proper order, so yeah, should be good. Even though I'm kinda sorta hesitant towards Terra's playthrough because he looks slow. And I mean, okay. But yeah, Kingdom Hearts 2. I definitely recommend it. But seriously, play the first one first, or at least watch Chain of Memories before even attempting to tackle this one, because you're gonna be left with so many questions. And this raises a whole lot of questions now that I think about it. I wonder if watching the cutscenes of Recoded will answer anything. It probably won't, or the rabbit hole will get deeper, who knows. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Kingdom Hearts 2. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys on the next time. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.